Last week, we started talking parallel and perpendicular. And nothing we did last week was necessarily new, and this is not necessarily new either. But we're going to take that parallel perpendicular concept to another level. These problems, I want to show them fall. These problems say write an equation of a line. We did that last week. And we also learned about parallel and perpendicular, and we're going to put it all together. So write the equation of a line through a point that's parallel or perpendicular to some other line. That's what it says. Now here's what they look like. The problem will say, find the slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the point 4, 3, and it's parallel to this line over here. So they don't actually give you the slope of your line. What they tell you is the line I want you to make is parallel to some other line. If we're supposed to be parallel to this, then what's our slope going to be? You're supposed to be parallel to that.
-3.
Yeah. So the slope of this is -3, so our slope is also -3. That's what you need to get out of this. Two lines that are parallel have the same slope. So when they say make your line parallel to this line, then you go, well, if that line slope is -3, my line slope is -3, and that's all you need from this equation. So the whole point of this, the -5, nothing. All you need is to find that it's -3. Now you have a point. It's 4, 3. So we got to make a line with a slope of -3 that goes through 4, 3. And we're going to use that y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. But what you needed to realize is that instead of giving you a slope directly, they indirectly said, okay, go through this point and be parallel to -3x plus 5. So here's your y minus y1, and will be y minus what?
3.
Y minus 3, because remember this is x1, y1. Equals what's your m?
-3.
And then x minus x1 will be?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. That's in point slope form. Anytime you make your equation in your point slope form, you're 2 steps away from y equals mx plus b. Step 1, distribute. So y minus 3 equals what?
-3x plus 12.
-3x plus 12. And then the only thing you have left to do is
Add the 2.
uh,
Sides.
add the
3.
3. Add 3. And then
3 Girthin.
3 goes. Y equals -3x plus 15. Y equals -3x plus 15. All right, that's what you do when they say go through this point and be parallel to. But they don't always say be parallel to. Sometimes they say write the equation of a line that goes through this point that is perpendicular to. Y equals -1/6 x minus 2. Now the slope of this line is -1/6. If you're supposed to be perpendicular to -1/6,
Be a positive.
now I'm trying to zoom in. Okay, you're supposed to be perpendicular to -1/6, so you're going to be positive what?
6.
6. That's all you need to get out of this equation. They just give you some line and they say, okay, your line goes through to -1 and it's perpendicular to this. So then all you need to do is go, okay, so my slope is going to be positive 6. So my m is 6. And then do the whole y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. My y minus y1 will be y plus 1. So y plus 1 equals, what's my slope? 6. And then my x minus x1 will be x minus 2. So now I've got y minus y1 equals, or well, yeah, y plus 1 equals 6x minus 12 minus 1 over, and y equals 6x minus 13. Now you don't see that as an answer because of one little issue.
Standard.
You're supposed to write your line in standard form. What is the form that you got right here?
Y.
Y equals mx plus b is called slope-intercept. You need to convert it to standard. Yeah. Okay, so right over here on the right or left and follow me. I'm going to write y equals 6x minus 13. That's in slope-intercept form. Standard form means the x piece is first. So you need to, what with this? Subtract it over. The good thing about what we have is we don't have fractions right now, so that's good. So now you have negative 6x plus y equals negative 13. But one of the big rules of standard form is that this piece can't be what? Negative. The other pieces can be. This one can't be. So what should we do? Just switch the signs. So make that positive, negative, positive. So just switch all the signs. Basically, that's dividing everything by -1. So 6x minus y is 13. Do you see that as an answer choice?
Yeah.
6x minus y equals 13.
Yeah.
So if you get y equals mx plus b and you're supposed to be in standard form, you have more work to do. Okay, last one up. I give you this one because it's a little bit trickier. It's still perpendicular. All right, find the equation of a line that goes through 5, 4, and it's perpendicular to this equation. What's the problem with this equation?
There's a bunch of junk.
A bunch of junk. If you're supposed to be perpendicular to it, you're trying to look for its slope. Can you see its slope right now?
No.
No. So what you have to do is rearrange that mess into y equals mx plus b. So that's why I have this thing written down right here. You're supposed to be perpendicular to it. That doesn't tell you anything until you are in y equals mx plus b. So let's get to y equals mx plus b. What are we going to do first? Does somebody's give me an option. There's a lot of ways we can do things first.
We're minus 2.
Yeah. We want y equals, so let's move this 2y over by subtracting it.
Yeah. And it's going to be negative 9y.
Right, should move that.
Good job, Jason. Yeah, I know, right?
2x minus 9y equals 7x.
Yeah. Then you're going to minus that nifty 2 over there, the other side.
Then we're going to minus what?
That 2.
This, the 2x.
Yeah.
So we're going to minus 2x on each side.
To the other side. That's going to be 5x.
Negative 9y equals 5x.
Then you got to divide, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah. But it's 9.
And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 9. These cross out and you get y equals negative 5/9 x. You don't have a b, so it's like y equals mx. If you don't have a b, you could put a plus 0 if that makes you feel better, helps you sleep at night. So now it's y equals mx plus b. What is the slope? The whole point of this was we're supposed to find its slope. So what is that slope? And our line is supposed to be, is it parallel or perpendicular?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular. So you found its slope, and if you're supposed to be perpendicular, what's your slope? 9 over 5. So you did all that work so that you could say, okay, my slope is 9 over 5. All right, and remember, your whole x1, y1 is 5, 4. So y minus y1 will be y minus what? 1 minus 4 equals what? And then x minus 5. This is going to be a little bit uglier because the fraction, keep that in mind, distribute, and you get y minus 4 equals 9/5 x minus 9. 9/5 times negative 5 is just negative 9. And then add 4. And now y equals 9/5 x minus 5. That is your y equals mx plus b. But do we want y equals mx plus b, or do we want standard form? Standard form, which means more work is required. So on the side here,
Too much work.
y equals 9/5 x minus 5. What I've been telling some of you as you've worked ahead is if you're doing standard form, you might just want to kill fractions as soon as possible. So if I'm going to do the kill fractions as soon as possible, I'm going to put these over 1, and I'm going to multiply both of them by what? Over 5. And then I'm going to multiply this one by 5 over 5. The whole point is they're all fractions with 5s on bottom, so I really have 5y equals 9x minus 25. So if you kill fractions immediately, it might make it a little bit easier. Then what do I need to do to get standard form? Minus 9x. So I have negative 9x plus 5y equals negative 25. And then I go back to what we said a minute ago. Yeah, you can't have the negative 9x, so make it a positive 9x minus 5y equals regular 25.
Whoa.
So on all of these problems, you're going to be asked to make a line through some point. That point is your x1, y1. They're not going to give you the slope. Instead, they're going to say be parallel to this line or be perpendicular to this line. If they say parallel to, what are you supposed to do? Take the same slope as that line. If they say perpendicular to, what are you supposed to do?
Flip it, if it's negate or non-negate.
Flip it, reciprocal it, and then do the opposite. If it's positive, go negative. If it's negative, go positive. So understand that's how it's going to work. They're not going to give you the slope. They're going to say steal the slope from this equation and make it parallel or make it perpendicular. That is it for objective 48. So go ahead and get started.
You must go.
What?